Everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's exclusive analysis. And today's going to be discussing natural gas. Natural gas is a wild widowmaker, getting absolutely clobbered. Look at that down 5.9%. And when you actually look at the futures chart, Nat Gas was absolutely crushed today, down over 15% on the futures chart. So big divergence occurring. Let's look at this natural gas intraday chart. I prefer to use the capital.com natural gas chart. That's how I like to trade it, but I do look at both because it is very important. Now, why is natural gas getting clobbered? We have been preaching since we were long at the lows here and we sold in and around this vicinity. We have been preaching that natural gas is likely going to make new lows. Now, I wish I caught the rest of this blow off move with our members, but we didn't, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But we still made profit on the long side trading this at the lows, and we made profit on equity stocks in the natural gas space. And believe it or not, our members shorted near the highs of the session and made profit already on the short side. Now, natural gas is vulnerable to breaking these new lows. My original thesis of it having a big move up and then a bigger move down is looking very likely. And I'm going to go over a few things why I think natural gas is going to potentially pierce this low. First off, we've had that big RSI shoot up. Massive high on the RSI, almost piercing the overbought range. But look in comparison to where we were trading, you're still well off. You basically almost just retraced 50% of this move and put in an extremely overbought RSI. Now the RSI is starting to break down, and I do believe we're actually going to come back to this oversold category around this 30 level. If we push down to this 30 level on the RSI, that's going to pierce this low, and then we're going to have a bullish divergence where you make higher highs on the RSI but lower lows in the price action. I want to see natural gas take out this low because I'm an absolute bull over the long term and want to buy it cheaper. I want to buy equities cheaper, and I think it's important to discuss that natural gas today closed below so many key moving averages. Look, losing the 20-day moving average, losing the 50, getting rejected, even losing the 200 daily moving average today, even losing the 100, the 113. Every single moving average natural gas has lost, which is a bearish signal at this point in time. Unfortunately, I have to say that, bulls, it is a bearish signal at this time. It's likely going to yield more downside. Now, let's not just believe natural gas. If natural gas is to make a bullish reversal or to, hit a technical support level where it bounces in the near term here, wouldn't natural gas equities also be ready to bounce? For instance, one I like to play is Antero Resources, AR, heavily dominated in the natural gas space. Look what AR just got rejected off of, this massive pivot zone. Now, really the only support, if you zoom out on the chart, is basically going to be this channel here. Pivot zone, consolidation, breakout, retest support over here. I think you're heading back down to the low end of this channel. That would really put into picture the fact that natural gas is going to go lower. If these equities still have to drop into the next support range, which is right around 2033 on AR, natural gas is likely going to fall. And this is what equities are kind of signaling to me, is that natural gas equities had a chance at breaking out. Look at this long-term trend line. Pivot to pivot to pivot, breakout, retest, failure, attempt at another breakout, and look what you just closed underneath today. This is a long-term trend line where you just got rejected. If natural gas is expecting to make any sort of reversal, these equities would also be hitting a big technical support level instead of just being rejected at a big resistance level. So natural gas equities are finding rejection and starting to break down. Let's look at EQT, another Nat Gas stock. Look at this bearish pattern, testing the lows of the session again. RSI breaking down, you're having a massive loss of some of the key moving averages. We scroll through some of these moving averages below the 50, below the 20, below the 200, below the 100. So you're losing all of the key moving averages here on the session. And really, I think where EQT can actually retrace to is basically back to this key trend line. The fact that you bounced off of this 50% retrace zone once and put in a lower high is another bearish signal that natural gas likely has more downside. I could see EQT flushing all the way down to its previous inverse head and shoulders pattern where it broke out. Let's look at LNG, another natural gas equity stock. Look at this bearish price action on LNG. It's not hitting technical support. Your first technical support is at 156, or this upsloping channel. This channel is basically goes back all the way to your COVID lows. Price action was trending in it, little breakout, retest, bigger breakout, retest off of key resistance, which became support, support again, support again, support again, broke down, found a new support low. We're likely going to test the low end of this range here. So these stocks in the natural gas commodity environment are telling us they're going to keep breaking out, which is definitely a little bit of a leading indicator for the underlying commodities. So I'm personally looking for more downside now. Could you get an intraday bounce here or there? You absolutely could. I mean, these are wild moves up and big moves down. So you could absolutely get a bounce. You do have this triple bottom support. If I was to look for this as a day trade reversal, I'm looking at this zone here. I'm actually going to draw it in with my channel here. This is my day trade bounce level. I'm going to give it to you right here. It's super, super risky. You can see we're coming up into it right now. But this is my day trade bounce level, in my opinion, where I think we could actually bounce. So call it around 250 on the charts. I think we could get a little bit of a bounce here. Let me just draw this in. I think if we flush into this intraday, we get a bounce all the way back up to here. And then I think we actually make a little bit of a move. Once we start testing this area or piercing it, I think we pierce it, I'm going to be starting to load up the truck in natural gas again to start accumulating on the long side. I mean, we played AR basically with members all the way down here, picking the near-term lows, and we rode it up. I want to buy these equity stocks cheaper, and I think we are going to get that best bet. If we look at the natural gas futures chart one more time, one more thing I want to go over is the fact that, let me just see if I still have it in. I do have it in. We still have never filled this 211, 212 gap on the natural gas futures contract chart. So I still think that natural gas chart gap has to be filled on the daily basis. That's where I think we're heading. So just notice that on the natural gas futures chart, even if you take out this pivot, you're still holding above the previous pivots. If you take out on the other natural gas chart, the capital.com chart, if you basically take out this pivot, you might also be taking out this pivot, but it could be a double bottom scenario where you bounce off of. So the charts are slightly different because of the rollout periods and rollover periods, but nevertheless, look at both. They will both give you the same technical setups, just with minor variances, but both charts using it in terms of reviewing both charts is the best bet. On that note, thank you all for tuning in. Please give this video a big like down below and just be cautious with this. Big swings up, big swings down. For all we know, we could have a big rip all the way up into this gap fill and then another decline. So, I mean, this is just very, very wild. I don't like to trade when it's in this no man's land, middle of the range level, because you don't really have a clear distinction yet. We're not really at support and we're not at resistance. So for that being said, it's a no touch for me at this point in time. Intraday day trades I'll certainly play. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you on the charts a bit later.